Hi, it's Mark Bossert from Top Local Lead Generation. We're here this morning with Mr. Bernie Pawlik. He's a master mechanic in Vancouver, BC, and he's the owner of Pawlik Automotive, which is a very heavily award-winning kind of auto service place, voted by their customers 12 times in a row so far as the best auto service place in Vancouver. How are you doing, Bernie?
Really good. Very good.
So we're going to talk about Audis, and I know that Audi is part of Volkswagen for quite a while now. But how much different than Volkswagens are they?
Well, there's a lot of similarities between Volkswagen and Audi, and you'll kind of see them more in the high-end Volkswagens and the low-end Audis. The similarity between the cars is quite noticeable. The engine platforms are shared between the two brands in this sort of area. And this can work to your advantage if you own like a lower end Audi. You've got basically a Volkswagen car, which maybe doesn't sound so good, but it's fixed up inside and makes it a lot nicer car. The great thing is about that is, the more cars a manufacturer sells that are similar, the cheaper the parts are. So it keeps your repair costs down. And the labor operations may still be expensive, but the parts are cheaper, so that ends up helping you out in the long run. Some of the models that are similar are the VW Passat and the Audi A4. They share a similar platform. And in the SUV area, which we'll talk more about later, the VW Touareg and the Audi Q7 are similar vehicles, as actually is the Porsche Cayenne. They all share the same platform, although there's clearly some differences between all of those models. Where one notices the similarities too between Volkswagen and Audi, it's just the feel of the vehicles, the way they're built. There's a certain German Volkswagen Audi feel to them, which you see even in a sort of mid-grade Volkswagen right up to a very high-end Audi. The fit and finish is certainly a lot better in the Audis, though, and there's a lot more buttons and accessories and things. So you certainly know you're in a luxury car with an Audi.
So you recently wrote a couple of blog articles about Audi being cheap to repair and then expensive to repair. So can you elaborate on that?
Yeah. The point I was trying to make it with the first article about being cheap to repair is that most people have this idea that European cars are expensive to fix. And for a lot of part, that's true. But sometimes they're actually extremely inexpensive to fix. And my point with the Audi, this particular vehicle, it had an engine misfire, quite a severe misfire. It turned out that it had a bad ignition coil. And the price of the coils, they were so cheap, and these were not some made in China cheap, copy. These were like name brand German made part. They were so cheap. I could buy 4 of them for less than the price of one ignition coil for my Subaru H6. So just because it's an Audi or Volkswagen or Mercedes or BMW for that matter doesn't necessarily mean that the car is going to be more expensive to fix. Sometimes it can be actually substantially cheaper than a Japanese or American car. But then, the same week we had an Audi A4, the transmission control module went bad, and it was a $3,000 repair. So it's things like that sometimes they're cheap, sometimes they're crazily expensive. But just because it's a European car or an Audi for that matter doesn't mean it's going to be expensive to fix.
So what sort of repairs do you find with Audis? And today we're going to concentrate here on the SUVs.
Yeah, generally they're pretty good cars, but there's a few things that happen with them. I mean, Volkswagen, Audi vehicles, they tend to have a lot of electrical and electronic problems. So you'll find that if you own one for a long period of time, you'll have a few issues with those. The brakes on the like the Q7, they tend to wear out really fast. They're expensive to fix. Tires wear out very fast too. I've had a number of people who bought them who've been sort of disappointed with how much money they've spent on maintenance and repairs. They're a big vehicle, and I'm not certain with the brakes why they wear out so fast. I see that with a lot of other European SUVs as well, like Range Rovers. The brakes don't last very long, and yet they're absolutely enormous. I mean, based on the size of the brake, it is a big vehicle, but based on the size of the brake, they should last for 150,000 kilometers. And I'm not certain what causes them to wear out so quickly, but the fact is they do. And whichever brand of parts we use seems to all wear at the same rate. Some of the engines in these vehicles they're very well built. They're good quality. But the oil changes are maintenance service is expensive. It's all synthetic oil, which leads to a longer oil service interval, but it does add expense. Brakes, I'm thinking brakes, tire wear. There's a few things. If you own an Audi SUV, you're definitely going to be spending more money than you will if you bought a Lexus, say, if you're looking in the luxury SUV market. Beautiful cars, though, for sure. The VW Touareg is very similar, and the high-end Touaregs, their fit and finish on those is quite nice, almost close to an Audi, but the Audi's a jump ahead. I know we're not talking about Porsche today, but the Cayenne is built on the same platform, but they kind of take it to a whole new level with performance and speed, and try to get the sports car feel to it. Yeah, but that's basically a lot of the what goes on with those vehicles.
So, high-end luxury vehicle, great performance. How's the diesel in the SUV?
They're good. They use a different model than in. We talked about TDIs last week. They use a V6 diesel in the Q7s and the Touaregs as well. Really reliable so far. We haven't seen a lot of problems with them. So I don't have much more to say about them. They're good, and it gives a nice option. You have a luxury diesel vehicle. That's not much more I can say about them. So far, we've seen very few problems with them.
Any last thoughts about Audi?
Audis have come a long way. I mean, they used to be kind of a quirky, bit of a quirky car going way back. They've, as I've said before, written before, back around the late 90s, with the introduction of the A4, the Audi brand really became a more mainstream, well-built vehicle, and also way more popular. So when it's popular, that's a good thing because they sell more of them and the cars tend to be built better. So, I mean, any last thoughts? I mean, they're great vehicles, but you will, especially if we're talking SUVs, you will spend more money on those vehicles than you would if you owned a Lexus or even a large American luxury, something like a Cadillac Escalade. I'm not sure how to say that, but good vehicle, very nice, but definitely more expensive to repair.
Great, thanks, Bernie. So we've been talking with Bernie Pawlik of Pawlik Automotive in Vancouver. They're an award-winning shop, voted by their customers 12 times in a row as the best auto repair in Vancouver. Give them a call, 604-327-7112, 7112. What's the number, Bernie?
604-327-7112. You can tell it's early. We're both not thinking. You get quite straight. Anyways, thanks, Mark. Appreciate it. We'll talk again soon.
Thanks. Bye.